I don't know if people will want to watch this next movie I'm talking about, this one that Blake Lively is in, but I will say that the scandal around the PR, that in and of itself is like a movie. So, do you know who Blake Lively is? Maybe, maybe not. She was in Gossip Girl. I I loved Gossip Girl. Full disclosure. I mean, I watched it when I was like 37, right? So when my young teenage girls are like, should can we watch this? I'm like, no, no, you can't watch that. That's like clearly for an adult woman. Anyway, Gossip Girl was very entertaining. It was kind of like Dallas on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, except with a much younger cast. So and more aggressive, right, than something like Dallas would have been because, well, it's a more aggressive time in society, shall we say. So it is that show that sort of made her famous, and then she became a kind of big deal Hollywood actress. And she seems like she's nice. You know, her dad was a captain in the Marine Corps, so she's got that going for her. She seems like she's probably a pretty nice person. I mean, as far as Hollywood goes, I stumbled across this clip and I want to show you before we get into all the saga and all that. Like, people hate her right now. They just hate her, hate her, hate her. I think she's Taylor Swift's friend too. So take it for what it's worth. Neither here nor there. But this clip, like, she looked like a nice person. Drew, let's cue this one up for folks. She's on the red carpet there. You can see she's with her husband, Ryan Reynolds. He's Canadian, so we don't really have anything against Canadians. His brother is a Mountie, or like a policeman in Canada, so that's kind of cool. But look, she went over there. She's on this red carpet with one of her co-stars in this new movie. Can we watch it one more time, Drew? So let's just see it again here. You see Blake Lively, and she's there at this event. The movie's called It Ends With Us. And she runs and grabs his girlfriend, and she's like, hey, come join us on the red carpet. And I just somehow like stumbled across that in my feed. I don't know why it was there, but I thought, like she seems like she's nice. And then somebody who doesn't like her very much, her co-star in this new movie, and I say he doesn't like her. I mean, like this is the rumor, right? This is Doc in Hollywood. He and she apparently had artistic difficulties, and consequently they kind of had some issue. I think Evie magazine put out a little statement from him, Drew, if you have it. He talks about these artistic differences and what he is hoping that people will take away from the magazine. This is Justin Baldoni. Do you have the video of him by any chance? Just let me know in my ear if you do or you don't. He spoke of friction on It Ends With Us set with Blake Lively. He's saying, you know what, like, it creates beautiful art. So yes, there was maybe a little bit of friction, but we got a better movie because of it. Let's go to him talking just briefly about the movie.
To mind isn't so much about the work that went into it, but about the why behind it. If a Lily Bloom in real life can sit in this theater and maybe make a different choice for herself than was made for her.
Okay,
maybe
so that's from an interview he did with Entertainment Tonight, and you see him. I'd actually never even heard of him before, but that's neither here nor there because Trish Regan doesn't know a whole lot about Hollywood. Drew, had you ever heard of him? Drew probably doesn't. No, okay. And Drew knows more about Hollywood than I do. Anyone knows more about Hollywood than I do. It's a low bar. But all that said, I definitely had never seen him. And so he bought the rights to this movie and he starred in it. He directed it. And she was in it. She was like a producer, but not as high up as him. And apparently she was kind of upset with some stuff. And she started having her husband, Ryan Reynolds, rewrite some of the scenes. And so the next thing you know, it just sort of blows up in everyone's face. New York Times is actually reporting on this. Like I said, it ends with us. It's like, what ends? Like everything ends. Like, forget about the movie for a second, which by the way is like really, really heavy topic. And I just don't even want to go there. Like, you heard him talk about it. It's something about domestic violence and stuff. So whatever. I don't want to see the movie anyway, but it's far more interesting to read about the discourse between these guys. So my tendency and my bias is actually to like Blake Lively. And maybe it's just because her dad was a captain in the Marine Corps. Maybe it's just because I liked Ryan Reynolds in a couple of movies, that one that he was in with Gal Gadot and The Rock. I think, he seems like his brother's a police officer in Canada. And so this Justin guy that I've never seen before, that Drew's never seen before, that cast her and directed this thing, like he hired some big deal PR agent, the one that actually represented Johnny Depp when he was in that mess with Amber Heard. And this PR agent has all of a sudden been able to sort of unearth all this bad stuff about poor Blake Lively. So now there's this full on onslaught. And I know we should say, look, she should be able to deal with it. She's a Hollywood star. Look what Trump deals with. Heck, right? But it's still just unfortunate. So everybody's making a big deal about this little interview that she did in which she kind of gave it back to the reporter that was asking her questions. I always find these Hollywood interviews like so nauseating, right? They kind of make your skin crawl because everybody's just being paid to act. I mean, you want to talk about scripted questions? This is why you got to worry about George Clooney involved in Kamala Harris's campaign. You want to talk about scripted questions. So they script the questions, they give them to the reporter. It's all about access. It's access journalism. The reporter, in this case, the podcast host, reads off the questions that the people that are promoting the movie want her to ask. And like, she's just trying to be nice and everybody's just trying to do their job. But apparently Blake, who was pregnant with maybe her third or fourth or fifth, I mean, she's got like a ton of kids, her child like didn't really enjoy doing that interview and said something kind of snarky. I didn't think it was that bad, but watch. And keep in mind, sorry, wait 1 second. Just keep in mind, pregnant women get asked about their bump a lot. It's kind of like annoying, right? Like, so I hear her, I feel her on this. Watch.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
You've got two nice ones.
They are kind of bumps, aren't they?
No, not bumps. The lovely lady lumps. Check it out.
Thank you. You like the movie?
Everyone wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
I would. I love Jesse's
He has some
suits and
beautiful.
how
That's what I'm saying. His wardrobe
it.
was
Oh, I
beautiful.
know,
Corey's
everybody.
wardrobe
I
was
know,
gorgeous.
he's
Those
so great.
high-waisted pants.
He's so great.
I wish men
And
wore
sorry,
high-waisted
too.
pants
I
like that
know.
still.
Me too.
Or the father with his tank top in
Oh,
bed.
it's so
Just
good.
like, it's just like
Did you
that.
catch
You could feel
the
it.
tablecloth on the light in the Italian restaurant when they eat
I
spaghetti?
didn't
and
notice that. No.
that- There's
Yeah,
so
but
much
like-
warmth of everything, you know.
Yeah, it's not just the women that have the clothes.
But
I feel like the women
Victoria-
get the conversation, but it's like
Yeah.
every detail with everybody.
But yeah,
It's so,
it was
so
amazing
beautiful.
to look at.
Steve's
And then to
white
see it.
suits.
Yes.
And then
What do
you
you
know-
feel like is the biggest misconceptions about fame and Hollywood in general?
I think the idea that people think that they know you, I think because of the how intrusive media is these days, there's people care so much more about your personal life than they do your work, and if you aren't open with your personal life, then they just make it up for you and share it for you. So I think the biggest misconception I see often is people feeling like they know someone that they don't, because they know what the media has created of someone. And the disappointing thing is when you meet the people, they're always so much more awesome than they're portrayed to be. I mean, that's normally my experience. And even people that are portrayed to be really great people, they're just a lot more complicated and interesting and nuanced and caring and thoughtful. And that's always nice, you know, to see that your idea of someone isn't always who they actually are, but be pleasantly surprised.
But we're just, inundated with a lot of material. You can be if you have the internet of, reading about these people
Yeah.
and thinking that you know them and all that. And it's like the spectacle of that, of what we do as actors, that has risen a lot more in the past decade than ever before. So, yeah, misconceptions.
Okay. All right. We've heard enough. I don't see a problem with it. Any of it. The two things that like people are all worked up about is like that she made a joke about the other lady's bump and somehow then said, well, why doesn't anybody ask about the men's? Like, I don't see it as that bad, but that podcast host, you saw that one, she's like from the Netherlands or I don't know. She's foreign. She's from Europe. Norwegian. Okay, so the Norwegian, thank you, Drew. The Norwegian lady who's doing that interview, just posted this the other day and wrote something scandalous like the interview with Blake Lively that made me want to quit my job forever. Okay? Did you really think that that was that bad? I would say that that podcast host has a very thin, fragile skin, or might be getting a little bit of something on the side from the PR firm that was just hired by the guy, Justin Baldoni, whatever his name is, that is mad about Blake Lively because there were some artistic differences on set. And she apparently said that he lingered on the kiss in the movie. And he also fat shamed her because she's a tall girl, and he asked how heavy she was. He went around the set and started asking about her weight because he was going to have to lift her in one of the scenes, to which I just say, buddy, like, get over it, man up, go lift some weights, for God's sakes. You're the one who hired her for your movie. All right. She's a tall girl. You better get stronger. Don't go around and just keep asking. I mean, oh my goodness. Anyway, it's a Friday, so we can talk about these things, right?